Also, as much as everyone loves to bash Rick Santorum, that's who I'm supporting for president. Out of all of the candidates right now, I would say Rick Santorum is number one. Number two is a bit of a gray area. I guess I would say Newt Gingrich, and then I would say Obama, and then I would say Romney. Pretty much as long as it isn't Ron Paul, which I probably don't have to worry about that. Everyone talks about how Rick Santorum wants to control your bedroom. Ooh. Out of all the things that could be controlled, you're worried about your fucking sex life. What does that say about you? Is there nothing else you are worried about the government or anybody else controlling besides your sex life? Is that how you define liberty? Do you find liberty by who you can fuck? That just proves how under tyranny you are, where you have so little in life that you think fucking someone in the asshole is freedom. Ancient Rome was exactly the same way. I'm not going to get into how close we are to Rome. What I'm merely suggesting is that Rick Santorum is probably the best chance we have, precisely because everybody hates him so much. He is so against the norm that it needs to be done. I will vote for anyone that aggravates the masses and their stupidity. The average person doesn't know what's good for them. The average person wants to hurt each other. The average person wants to kill each other and rob each other and, swallow each other whole. The average person is a piranha, a beast. So, I don't give a fuck what they want. What is right, and what is wrong is wrong. And, I think Rick Santorum gets that, and that's unfortunately what I believe will be his downfall, because he believes what he says, and he has actual morals. It may not be your morals, it may not even be my morals. I'm not saying I always agree with Rick Santorum, but he looks like somebody that actually has moral convictions, and that's enough for me, because that in and of itself is extremely rare. Whereas Mitt Romney, everyone calls him an opportunist, and he is. He's a sociopath. He is so rich, so powerful, and so distant from the plight of workers, he cannot comprehend it. He only knows how to make money and how to control the situation and how to take advantage of other people's weaknesses. I compare him to American Psycho, which is why, even though I don't like the guy, I kind of been charmed by his demeanor, because you know what? Maybe we need American Psycho. Maybe we need American Psycho to make us check out these doubles, and run this country like a fucking serial killer. Newt Gingrich, I believe, would implement communism inadvertently. He wouldn't mean to do it. He would want to make this authoritarian capitalist society. But I think in turn it would create a communist society, because the way he is on child labor would invariably mean that children would be exposed to a young age the harsh conditions of the workers, and then they could be converted to socialists and communists, and they could form unions, and then where would the 1% be? So I believe that his entire belief system would come back on him. That's why I would vote for him. And Obama really isn't all that bad. Anything you have against Obama is just basically what you had against George Bush. Am I saying George Bush was a good president? Hell no. But why am I going to get butthurt about Obama, It makes no sense. So none of them really shock me. None of them really, make me, cringe. They're just the president. They really can't do all that much anyway. If you're so worried about what goes on in your bedroom and shit, maybe you need to concern yourself with what the Supreme Court is doing, what your Senate is doing, what your governor is doing, because your state laws and what all those politicians are writing down and voting amongst themselves are doing concerns you. So you need to get out there and get involved. You need to get out there and have some fucking morals and know what you want out of life. Because we live in a republic, like it or not. It's not a good thing, but it's the way it is. A republic is where we vote for other people to represent us. And what that actually means is that they make all the rules, and they get to make this shit up as they go along, and, they act like it's democracy and that it's freedom simply because we voted for them. You know, we don't know what we're voting for exactly. We have no way to prove that they will keep their promises. We're just making an assumption. We're just rolling dice and hoping that they keep their word and that they'll actually represent us and our beliefs. But what incentive do they have to do it? Once they're voted into office, they're there for a good 4 or 8 years, so they can do whatever they want. And then from there, they will probably be bribed by, you know, rich oil companies or mortgage companies or credit card companies or fucking any company, and then get to live on a yacht and, you know, have all the bitches in the world. I doubt sincerely Rick Santorum will be so against illicit sex acts when he's the one that has like 5 women that he can just roll in bed with and have 10,000 babies with them. So, you know, it's stupid to think that we should get so butt mad over a fucking president. Who cares? You know? I care more about my state electorate. I care more about, you know, who's going to be voted into the Senate and the congressional floor. I care more about who our representatives are going to be. I care about all those House branches. You know, at the end of the day, it's those guys that are coming up with the laws and are going to vote on the laws. And then they let it to the president where he signs it and ta-da, it's a new law. So if you got a problem with Rick Santorum, maybe you should be paying attention to all the people around Rick Santorum. Maybe you should be paying attention to the entire Republican Party that makes up at least 50% of the entire branch of government. You know, but all this shit about the fucking president, stupid. You know, I'm not going to place all the blame on one guy. That would be idiotic. And that's probably why they do it. That's probably why the media, you know, makes a fiasco out of fucking Rick Santorum and all this other shit. Because, you know, they act like we live in a monarchy, but we don't. You know, if we lived in a monarchy, we'd only be the size of like a city, because it would be impossible to run this huge country on fucking one person's rulership. And, you know, even monarchies usually have secret oligarchies within that actually do the details, and the monarch is just a face, a representative, yet again. So the line between a republic and a monarchy is thin, but a republic is more competent about it, and it's more blunt about it. It's honest about the fact that we are ran by an elite group of people that we elect, or at least think we elect, and, you know, they make all the rules and shit. And, you know, and then it's somehow our fault, you know, either because we voted for it or because we didn't vote for it. If we decided to stay home and not vote, somehow that magically makes it our fault too. It's always our fault. It's always the poor people's fault. Just like it's always my fault I get banned, apparently. You know, never mind the fact that moderators do whatever the fuck they want to without consequences. Never mind the fact that there's no incentive to stop them. You know, there's nothing to stop them from banning me. There's nothing to stop them from doing anything. People praise them. People act like everything's just fine, and that somehow I should just move on with my life, even though I have to deal with that time after time after time. But somehow it's still my fault, even though I have no control over it. I have no control over the moderator. I have no control over the forum's reaction. I have no control over anything. I just want to be able to post my fucking opinion and, you know, live my life. Just live my life like everybody else. You post your stupid shit, I post my stupid shit. But somehow moderators get a bundle up their britches and they have to stick their dick in my eye. And the same thing applies here. You know, you're getting all bent out of shape over a fucking president, and it doesn't mean anything. Even if Rick Santorum gets elected, it probably won't mean that suddenly gays will be casted out and hunted down like dogs, if only. But I sincerely doubt that. You know, but the only reason I would support Rick Santorum so militantly is because I know it bothers you, and you need to be bothered because you suck. So that's it.